That is how we ended the high school football season with yet another title for the Trinity Christian Conquerors, picking up championship number 9 not too long ago out in Tallahassee. All right, we got a special event planned here for tonight as we are going to unveil the first ever Action Sports Jax all-prep team.
It's pretty empty.
It's empty right now, but by the end of this, we'll have 25 young student athletes who shined on the field and off it this year and really were the best at their position. And so we decided to honor them with this special distinction. It comes with some other cool perks as well. We'll get to that in a little bit. But it was fun putting this list together. We thought it would be hard. It was at times, narrowing it down between some of the guys because we have just so many great student athletes in our area when it comes to football at all levels. Guys that are going to go on to play for major colleges, guys who should be getting more of a look than they are, and we'll hit a few of these over the next few minutes.
Absolutely. Brent Martineau here, Stuart Weber there, but it's really our entire Action Sports Jax team. The beautiful thing, and I'll mention Marcel Robinson, Olivia Tassily, and Kevin Sullivan, who helped us out, by the way, with this team as well, and it was tough. Think about all the high schools around here, right? And then multiply it by however many student athletes are playing on football teams, and then how many quality teams that we have. Tough to narrow it down to what we will say is a 25, but it's the first ever. You know, the beautiful thing about high school football is we can do whatever we want.
We can.
And so each and every year we try to do something different. We expanded a little bit. We've expanded on the ESPN 690 side. And so we said, let's do this. And we have to thank, actually, the inspiration, Jaguars Prep, our partners there. They kind of put this in our mind a little bit, and we said, all right, let's try this thing.
And I mentioned the cool perks. Well, it has something to do with that NFL franchise.
All right, let's go. What do you think?
Might have been in the news this week.
This is Weber does all our high school football coverage, so he plays the point here.
Yes.
And get us going.
Let's get it started.
On the wall that says it all.
We're going to do it with a couple of quarterbacks making the team as we reveal our first 2 members of the Action Sports Jax all-prep team. Sandalwood quarterback Chris Calhoun and our man from Nice, Marcus Stokes, 2 guys who put together some really big performances this year and put up the numbers. Huge numbers.
And really, look, Calhoun's played at Sandalwood for a bit now, and he has helped them through some great times. He really carried them, I thought, this year. They needed him. They leaned on him, right? And he had to carry a lot of the freight. Got a ton of talent. But they probably had a better team, maybe, say, last year, where other people would help out. And so I thought Calhoun was fantastic in the clutch moments. And really, you could make the case the best quarterback in the area this year was Marcus Stokes out of Nice. And it kind of came out of nowhere, at least if you're a high school football fan. Nice kind of came out of nowhere, though, didn't they?
They did. And, you know, Stokes putting together 28 total touchdowns this year, over 3,100 total yards. And, by the way, sorry for the other teams in the district. He's only a junior, so he will be back next year.
Yeah, they were electric on offense with Colin Drafts calling plays and made a deep run into the playoffs. It was a fun run, a surprise run. So 2 talented quarterbacks. Listen, we got a lot of good quarterbacks in the area. We've had really good luck on the quarterback front over the last few years, and I think we've got more quarterbacks coming, about a couple freshmen and sophomores in the area. So it's going to get tougher and tougher on the quarterback position. And by the way, we didn't necessarily say you had to have just 2 quarterbacks, but we ended up with 2 quarterbacks this year.
One of the nice things you said is that we make the rules, so
we don't change.
We didn't have to decide on a certain number of players, a certain position, that sort of deal. Didn't have to be a senior. We went all over the map.
All right, so congrats, Chris Calhoun and Marcus Stokes.
All right, let's go to the next position group. That would be the running backs, and you'll see 5 of them up here because we had so many good running backs throughout the area. Here you are, take a look. You've got from left to right, Cade Frew from Bowles, Christian Ellis, of course, out of Ed White, Preston Strope, one of the most underrated guys in our area from Creekside, Arthur Fats Walker from Atlantic Coast, and Trayon Webb, the game breaker. He's the only one of those 5, by the way, who's a junior. The other 4 all seniors. Trayon Webb, he's a good one.
Yeah,
he's a good one, that one,
really
out of Trinity Christian.
Obviously, decommitted from Oklahoma with the Lincoln Riley news. Had that big 99-yard touchdown run. I think it was in the state semis.
Put it away with that one,
Yeah, so Webb is electric. Look at the size of this kid.
2 touchdowns in the title game. Whew.
and here's the deal, Stuart. When they needed him at the end, when they're making their playoff run, I thought that's when he played his best.
Yeah.
There were times I was like, wait a minute, Trayon Webb, and I think he was banged up.
Well, he was banged up throughout the season,
but this kid
was ready to
is
go at the end of the year.
Talented. For sure. And I'll tell you what, I thought the running back, as we did this, I thought the running back position was probably the most valued in the area. And I think that's a debatable thing.
Sure.
But I thought there were a lot of guys to pick from. And so let's go with some staple career. They were great this year, too, but they could almost be career award guys like Cade Frew and Preston Strope.
45 career touchdowns for Preston Strope.
And I mean, look.
I feel like we showed it every single week,
time.
him getting in the end zone.
He carried a lot of the load for Creekside, who also had a very good banner season.
And talking about 99-yard touchdowns, Fats Walker coming up with one of those.
Highlight
in a
reel.
Huge game. That was the game against University of Christian that got them into the playoffs, was that 99-yard touchdown run.
Yeah, and by the way, I mean, he's kind of my favorite player just because it's Fats, F-A-T-Z.
With a Z.
I mean, I don't know the young man. I hear he's a very good young man. He's a very good athlete, but I just like the name. It's the name game, too. And Cade Frew, by the way, has been terrific. I mean, as advertised, going to the Air Force Academy, he'll fit in perfect there. And tough, hard-nosed football player that is just going to be in the record books at Bowles for a long time.
And the thing I love about Christian Ellis from Ed White, guy who played on both sides of the ball, some crunching hits as he played on that side going to New Mexico to
he just announced
a Lobo.
Yeah, good for him, and a neat story, a good young man. And the Commanders, too, had a nice season. In part, they had a couple guys now, but Christian Ellis is a big part of it.
All right, let's keep it going. We'll go to the wide receiving core, and here we are, left to right. We're going with Kareem Burke from Raines, DJ Costin out of Hilliard. We got Demarion Frazier out of Clay, and Dom Henry, the #1 receiver in the state of Florida as far as yards goes, 1,590 yards. That's a lot.
Well, somebody's got to catch those Marcus Stokes passes, right? And Dom Henry did, and others did, by the way. But this kid was money. He was clutch and caught just about everything. And once he caught it, look out, right? So he was, you go over 1,500 yards in high school football in a season, and you're #1 in the state of Florida? Whew. That is saying something.
Well, it's not a 16-game NFL season. Well, 17 now. 17-game NFL season. That's a 10-game regular season in the playoffs. Almost 1,600 yards.
Terrific. Hey, if you want to watch some highlights, check out the huddle video of Demarion Frazier.
Yeah.
This guy just about every week. I mean, he was clutch for Clay, who, by the way, had to go change things a little bit from a running game earlier on in the year and shifted the focus to kind of get the ball in the hands of the playmaker. Like Frazier, he was terrific.
Yeah, Kareem Burke and Costin, two more of those big-time playmakers when you're talking about putting up huge numbers.
Hilliard had an awesome season.
1,600 all-purpose yards for DJ out of Hilliard, and then Kareem, 1,550 all-purpose. So these are the guys who sometimes sneak into this running back territory just because of the way the high school game is right now, to where they're getting used in the backfield and they're picking up huge chunks of yardage all the time.
The most disappointing part of the reveal so far of the Action Sports Jax all prep team here is that Stuart Weber hasn't memorized all the stats.
No,
he's a 1,400 SAT kid.
I write them down.
1,400 SAT guy. I mean, you should look up to Stuart, but he had to write all of them down.
By the way, when you are an SAT kid like that, you learn to work smarter, not harder, by writing stuff down.
All right, so here we go. What do we got? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11.
Okay. You want to go to the big guys?
Let's go to the big
Let's go to the big guys. Let's bust out the offensive linemen. We had to put them on both sides of the wall.
Get some love to the offensive linemen. That's nice of us.
Yeah, absolutely. We got 4 of them up there because these are 4 big-time guys in our area, starting with Jason Jackson from St. Augustine, next to Darrell Johnson out of Riverside, who just signed with Wake Forest.
I was just over there, by the way. Mom and Dad certainly proud over there.
No doubt. Going to play for the Demon Deacons, who, by the way, are coming to Jacksonville. Tax Layer Gator Bowl.
Very good.
So you can get a little jump start on learning his teammates.
Before we leave Jason Jackson, I did say we do Committed to the Uncommitted on ESPN 690, and this is a young man that I think is going to really blossom. And talked to Brian Braddock, and he said, keep an eye on this kid, and played really well. St. Augustine, you know them. They bring their lunch pail. I actually asked one time, we did a Player of the Week vote, and I said to Brian Braddock, they came up a big win. He's like, I got nobody. Like, what do you mean you got nobody? Give me somebody for a Player of the Week. Nah, this said everybody played really well. Like, that's kind of the way it did, and played solid football, but nobody was like, boom. And that's what they do. But this kid stands out.
6'4". Once he gets into a college weight room, and
good
that
frame.
Nutrition, that's gonna pay dividends for him. All right, we got 2 more over here on this side of the wall, including the blue chipper out of Orange Park, Roderick Kern. probably don't hear his name too much because he's an offensive lineman.
Yeah, where's all the video? Where's all the video? Oh, here's the video.
We got the circle and everything.
Hey,
we got some downfield blocks. That's what we're talking about. Shout out to Marcel Robinson for digging through the huddle to go find a little offensive lineman video.
You should get the offensive lineman in the celebrations.
I know, right? Always. We don't have the pancake numbers here, other than the ones they eat on the day before the game.
How many could
And you got Matt McCoy as well from Creekside, 6'6", 280. You think some college program's going to want him?
Yeah, and I think like about 20, 30, 40 of them have offered him.
Yep. So Matt McCoy finishes off our offensive lineman group. So those are the big guys blocking up front. Meanwhile, the big guys getting after them. Let's go to the defensive linemen, starting with Aaron Hester.
Yeah,
doing one of these now.
Yeah,
Florida State.
And runs in the family, right? Out there by the beach. And by the way, he'll play both sides of the ball too. When they need a big run or a short yardage play, Hester will do it. Stud player. And has been for a while. I think it's always cool about these high school kids too when they kind of come with a target. Like this guy's been his dad, and he's been committed for a little bit now, and so everybody knows about number 22 there, and he still gets the job done. So hats off to Aaron Hester on a nice season.
We got Jace Edwards from Fleming Island and Orlando Holland from Baker County. I always like saying his name because I like both of those places.
Yeah,
Orlando and Holland, where my family.
Which place is the traffic worse?
Yeah.
You've been to both?
I've been to both. Orlando. In Holland, everyone's on bicycles.
Jace Edwards, by the way, and listen, I didn't see a lot of Fleming Island this year, but I felt like every time we do a Friday night blitz, I said his name. He had a big year.
I think one of the cool things, too, on his Twitter page, where you're constantly marketing yourself and telling everybody about yourself, he had like 9 positions listed on there. So basically he's telling coaches, I will play anywhere you put me.
Yeah, that's probably why I heard his name a lot.
That's probably why. And by the way, Orlando Holland had a 7-sack game in the regional finals against Wakulla. And 7 sacks in one game.
Baker County then loaded too.
Did the Jax have 7 this year?
Yes, they do.
Boy, okay.
But Baker County, obviously one of the great high school football scenes out here in Northeast Florida, but also a tough pick because they got a lot of good players, had a nice deep run. Some of these schools to narrow down just 1 or 2 kids, and some we have multiples, but not a lot. Yeah. Try to spread the wealth a little bit. But you're right. I mean, Orlando Holland had not just a big game, though, big year altogether.
All right, let's go to the linebackers. And with the linebackers, we have Ben Bogle, another one of those #1 guys in the state, led the state in tackles with 202 tackles. And 19 sacks.
Yeah, and Bogle's a guy, again, another committed to the uncommitted guy, although he has been committed. I think it's Southern Illinois now, right?
Is where he signed with, yeah.
And what's interesting about his story is Coach Draft told me he played on the defensive line at like 205 pounds because they needed him to, and then he ends up 200, and he goes back and plays his linebacker position, I think, at like 220, and so he has a monster year. You'll see a few Nice players on here. They had a monster year. Maybe we shouldn't have been as surprised with some of the talent on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Number 44, good linebacker number, by the way. We got Micah Pollard, of course, signing with the Michigan Wolverines. We know the game runs in his blood as well. Pop's happy to see it over there at the Jags headquarters.
Marcus Pollard, former Indianapolis tight end,
That's of course,
and now with the Jags.
Now does a lot of the community outreach stuff that the Jaguars do and works with them.
Did not have a vote.
No, he did not.
Micah can flat out play.
He sure can. And another cool thing, by the way, I believe he gave donations for every sack that he had this year.
He did, good point.
To a charity, which is awesome.
Yeah, to recognize, I think, his sister.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
And he racked up those sacks. And let's hear it for our guy, Pup. So Grayson Howard from Jackson goes by Pup. Grayson Pup Howard. Here's a little backstory for you. Do you see what number he wears?
10.
Number 10. Do you know what his Twitter account is?
No.
His Twitter name is @Decaphobia.
Ah.
So opposing quarterbacks have the fear of the number 10, and that's his Twitter name, @Decaphobia.
Very well done, Pup.
Which is the fear of 10.
By the way, he's not a pup.
He is not. That's
he's
a
like
big boy.
215 pounds, ripped. And one other note about him, we got a chance. We're doing a story with Jackson we're working on, and we got a chance to spend some time around him. What a terrific young man. I'm sure a lot of these guys are. We don't get to meet each and every one, but he is a terrific young man, and he has over 20 scholarship offers.
Another one of the juniors on this team.
A big name guy going into the 2023 class.
Yep. You talk about big name guys. Let's go to our final group. That would be the defensive back group, and we have had some big-time blue-chip prospects at defensive back from the secondary come out of Northeast Florida. The guy in blue there, certainly the latest, and Jaheim Singletary signing that pen to paper for the Georgia Bulldogs. But let's not sleep on some of these other guys in the group as well. You talk about C.J. Dorsey from Parker, 9 interceptions, 5 touchdowns this year.
5 touchdowns.
For that young man.
Yeah,
with that
one of the
Dorsey,
best in the state
with that
numbers-wise.
Dorsey name, of course, Pop Sharon Dorsey leading the way there for the Parker Braves. Another one of those Baker County guys, Jamil Jones. He was an interception machine this year, had 8 in the regular season and kept going in the postseason as well. And let's give it up for Tony Carter as well, who not only a great football player, dude's a stud on the wrestling mat.
He is, and he's a throwback old school guy.
Another committed to the uncommitted guy.
He is another uncommitted, and look at him. Just looks like a football player. And you don't sneak safety sometimes into the fold on a list like this, but he makes the list. And obviously, we'd like to keep expanding the list and do a whole nother wall. There's so much talent in the area. The one position we really left out, not kicker. Not getting there. We could have let.
I tried to get a kicker in there, guys.
We almost did, by the way. They narrowed it close.
As the soccer player, I tried to make it happen.
We won't tell them who, but but also tight end.
Yeah.
Tight end's an interesting position. We had a couple really good candidates, but we just thought to limit it to 25. Sorry, tight ends. Maybe next year.
Yeah, heck, keep on showing out, and we'll get you on the list certainly. So this is it. This is our all prep team. 25 guys. The Action Sports Jax all prep team. So
First one ever,
the best one ever.
And by the way, also would like to encourage you, if you don't like our selections, to make your own 25 and see how difficult it really is.
It really is, by the way, considering that we have 70 high schools that we cover in the Northeast Florida, Southeast Georgia area, all in this little clump of our coverage area that we have to sort through and find the guys. So that was really the tough part.
You know, you talk to coaches and everything, and obviously they're standing up for their guy. They want it, and they have every right to. And there's a lot of guys that could have made the list. But this is the list we came up with, so hopefully you respect the list. All good football players. We know there are many more. And tell them what else they're going to do, Stuart Weber.
Let's see what you won, shall we? As we take a look at TIAA Bank Field. And we show you TIAA Bank Field because as we announce this team here on a Friday, on Sunday, this group of 25 young men are going to get to hold the flag out on the field before the game.
Yeah.
They get some jerseys, they get recognized by the team. Really cool that our partnership with Jaguars Prep is allowing this to happen and letting these guys get honored on the field where they hope to one day play.
Which, by the way,
hopefully not against the Jaguars, maybe for the Jaguars.
Yeah, which is full circle for a lot of these guys because we started off with Baker Sports Media Day each and every August, and now some of these guys end up back in the stadium and get recognized. And
if you want to go even further back, they played the Pop Warner games or the little Gator Bowl back in the day.
Many of them probably did.
I'm sure
but
quite a few
at the same time, some have never been. To the stadium, and so maybe this is the first trip for a couple of these guys. But we appreciate what the Jaguars are doing as well in conjunction with the high school football in Northeast Florida, Southeast Georgia, and there will be a special day for these guys. Not just holding the flag, that's a cool thing too on the field, but some pictures and other things like Stuart mentioned with jerseys. So we actually don't know all the festivities. We'll see out there Sunday. We'll be a part of them as well, and it should be a lot of fun.
And so that's part of it. They're also going to play a big role in our year-end wrap-up show that we like to do every year. We call it the Blitzies.
Yeah, this is not new. We've been doing this for quite a while now. But what is significant is somewhere in this group of 25 will be our player of the year.
It'd be weird to have the player of the year not come from one of these 25.
I felt safe giving that away. But it'll be Christmas Day. We've never put it on Christmas Day. The high school season ends later and later now. But it also gave us some time to do a team like this, reveal it, and also give away our coach of the year, our team of the year, our player of the year, and recognize some of the great season of 2021.
Yeah, you saw the times, 10:30 Fox 30, 11:30 CBS 47, essentially in place of Action Sports Jax primetime that we'll normally do on a Saturday night. Instead, it's on Christmas Day, so we'll have that, and of course, we will have it online as well, like we always do. We'll put it on all our social media channels, so you'll be able to see it that night as well.
Is that it?
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
We look forward to it. We'll share a special story, by the way, on that Blitzies night. But a big thank you to everybody who watches our high school coverage. This is just a little bit of an expansion to our high school coverage this year. We hope to continue it, but we got to thank all the people that make it work behind the scenes, our photographers, and especially our team, Marcel,
Irfan and Ryan Kendall are two major videographers this year.
Yeah, and one more shout out to Coach Kevin Sullivan, who has been a part of our team this year.
Hall of Famer.
Mostly on the radio side, but knows a ton about high school football.
And helped select this team as well. So he was able to provide
So
some
blame
insight on
him.
some of these guys. Yeah, blame Sully. Do that.
He had a vote.
I like it.
All right, that's it. I'm Brent Martineau. Stuart Weber does all our Friday Night Blitz coverage, so we won't give him any trophies or anything like that. But
I'd take a trophy.
yeah, I mean, you can give him a little pat on the back.
I wouldn't carry it around like you did the home run derby trophy for like 3 years.
No. Maybe these guys will wear their jerseys to school.
Oh, I like
once
that.
they get it. Welcome to our Action Sports Jax All Prep Team 2021.
Thank you
Put
for
a ball
watching
on this show.
Yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the Blitzies coming up on Christmas Day.